JHK here for the AllStar, and join me right now is one of the up-and-coming Bantamweight prospects in the US of A, Garrett Armfield. Garrett, thank you so much for the time, man. You got a big fight coming up on October 9th. How is everything going?
Man, everything's going great, man. Couldn't be happier right now. Just enjoying life and kind of taking every day in, especially coming up to the fight. How have you been?
Good, good, man. And right now, you're so close to the fight. What stage are you in your training camp?
Oh, now this is the kind of like the tone down, like kind of relax a little bit and make sure that my body is like not that I'm hurt, but like 100% healed, like with muscle soreness and just kind of cut the weight, stay relaxed, stay loose. Pretty much camp's wrapped up at this point. Now it's just making the weight and going to business.
Let's get into your career up to this point a little bit before we talk about the fight in depth. You started your amateur career, with this long winning streak. First round finishes, many finishes, and then you picked up a couple titles along the way. Then after the David Oyama fight in
Mm-hmm.
2018, you turned pro, right? Why did you
Yes.
decide, or why did you feel it was the right time for you to go pro at that?
So at that point, well, actually, that fight with David Onama, I actually was a title fight for a league in Kansas City. It's now FAC, but at the time it was called KCFA. And during that fight, we both signed off to do knees to the head. And David Onama is a bad man. He's a very good fighter. He's like 7-0 as a pro now, about to have his eighth fight. And I went up a weight class and took on the stud, and I got kneed in the face a couple times. And I was like, all right, well, that is the toughest dude that I will fight on the amateur circuit. And yeah, I lost the fight, and I kind of was like, all right, well, now it's time to go pro. I'm not gonna go and do this for free anymore. I definitely need to go get my value and go get my worth and start building my career towards what I've envisioned since I was a kid. And so the decision was like taken by my coaches at the time and me, and I was like, I think I'm ready. And they're like, you have the work ethic, and I mean, might as well. And so yeah, made the jump, and and then I had a couple fights in Missouri. My first pro fight was in Arkansas, and then I had a fight in Missouri, and I went 2-0. And like my second fight, I had like an 11-second knockout. It was great. I was like, awesome, let's go. And then I was actually supposed to fight my opponent. I was supposed to fight that I'm fighting this Saturday. I was supposed to fight him in 2018 in St. Louis, Missouri. And what happened was I had a knee injury about 10 days out and actually had to get surgery. And so I actually had to pull out of that. So now it's cool that we actually get to go back. And 3 years later, we actually get to run this fight back.
Your first pro fight, does the amateur career allow you to be more calm and more collected entering your first pro fight, or did that not matter and you felt the nerves of the moment?
Man, so I did amateur boxing growing up. And so amateur boxing, how it is they have like a little counter and they click, 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 and it's whoever lands the most punches win. You could get knocked down in a round and still win the round just because you landed more punches. And so I've always been an aggressive fighter, one that pushes the pace. And so when I was an amateur, I was every fight I had ended in like less than 2 minutes for like my first like 4 or 5 amateur fights. And so I was used to just going in there and just putting guys away. And so I was definitely nervous for my first pro fight, especially since like I looked up to the pros for like the longest time, and it was finally my time to be pro. And I think I kind of looked at it as then again it's just another fight. And that fight was actually it went to the first round or ended in the first round, and my second fight was only like 11 seconds, like I said. And so again, that was another first round finish. And then my third pro fight was actually I would say was my first real pro fight. I fought a guy named Ronnie Lawrence, and he's actually one of my great friends, one of my better friends, and a training partner that I have now down here in South Florida. And the first 2 minutes, I went out there like it was an amateur fight, trying to take his head off, trying to close the distance, and try to finish it right away. And I got a couple shots in, and I was like, oh, okay, I've been here before. This is starting to feel comfortable. I know the finish is coming. And then Ronnie does what Ronnie does best, and Ronnie moves and uses his timing and his distance, and he started picking me apart with shots. And after that fight, because I ended up like kind of gassing, and I was like, man, I do so much cardio. Why did I gas? And it's kind of like I will explode it all and try to do it all eggs in one basket in the first minute. And so that was a big learning point for me right there, was that, you need to take your time and slow down, and kind of look at pro fights as more of like a feeling out process, more as than, oh, I'm going to go out there and finish you in a minute. Like, yeah, of course, that's always the goal. But I'm definitely, especially after my fight in April, I had lost that fight. And it was after I had probably one of the best rounds I've ever had. I went out there and I smashed this dude, broke his nose, literally almost got the finish. I hit him with a lot of hard shots, and he survived. And we got to the second round, and I had this adrenaline dump. And I couldn't even feel my arms. Like, I've never had that happen where like my arms were like pulsating in between rounds. So then I went out in the second round and I was throwing, but it wasn't the same. And I got taken down, and he actually got me in a submission, which probably one of like my biggest things is like I hate that fight because I was winning so much, and then just within a matter of 20 seconds I lost it after working so hard to get to that point. And so especially that fight and the fight with Ronnie Lawrence, those are definitely huge learning curves for me. And so what I'm taking from those losses into this fight, and I know we really haven't got to the point of talking to this fight, but is just staying calm, kind of going back to where I was an amateur boxing, amateur fighter, getting to finish in 1 minute. Again, that's great. But like, if you stay calm, then that allows your cardio to catch up with your heart rate, if that makes sense, and like get you caught up to the rhythm. And then you can go 15 minutes, no problem. It's getting that first like out of you, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. It does make sense, man. You explained it beautifully, and yeah, man, you take this interview wherever you want to take it, man. You're striking.
Yeah.
You're the man. You're the reason why people are watching this. Now, you mentioned, you're up, so like you're dominating the fight, man. I feel like that's so important for people to understand, because like this is the only sport where you could be up, like, let's compare it to like basketball, like 100-20, and then the team that's losing could win in like one shot, that's what MMA is.
Yeah, I mean, at any point you can flip the script and freaking change your career too. You know, yeah, I like how you put that. How like kind of like other sports, it's oh, okay, well, we're ahead by 3 touchdowns. Say like, well, all right, well, they scored 1 touchdown. We still got 2 more where they can't win, right? And like in my fight, I remember going back and watching it. I heard like in the commentary, they're like, wow, that was a 10-8 round. That could have been a 10-7 because that might have been a 10-7 because my opponent got a point taken away too for he spit out his mouthpiece twice. One when I was actually trying to get the finish, and then the other was like in the middle of a scramble, and the referee stopped, gave his mouthpiece, and took a point away. And so I had this huge lead, but for some reason I just couldn't calm down in between the rounds, and that was like a big thing. And like you said, like flip the script. I mean, all it takes is 1 shot to, get the finish. So it's a beautiful sport, It's why you gotta stay ready. You gotta stay ready for everything. And the guys that are at the top are able to control those things. And I feel like the biggest reason why they can do that is because they control up here, and they literally stay calm. They don't let anything bother them while they're in the fight. And I think a big thing of that is also staying loose. Again, if every time I go back and watch the fight, and I try not to read into everything I did too much, but I'm like, man, I look stiff. I look like stressed instead of being loose. And like I've gone back and I've watched my opponent fight, and I've seen guys that he's fought against that he's beaten, and the guys are all stiff, and they get tired real quick. And I've watched the fights where he's lost, and it's like, man, that guy just moved. And I'm fighting a wrestler as well, and I know that he's gonna want to take me down, because I mean I am known for my striking. I do have an extensive background in striking. I'm trained under Henry Hoof, with Sean Soriano, and some of the toughest strikers in the sport. And so that's going to be his game plan. And I know, Coach Jones tells us all the time, Coach Greg Jones, the wrestling coach at Stanford MMA, that one way to destroy somebody's takedown offense is just moving your feet and circling. And so, staying loose is definitely like a big part that I put in for this camp, staying loose and picking my shots. I don't got to throw 30 every 20 seconds too. I am a high volume striker, and I think that's why I'm an exciting fighter. But it comes to a point where you're going to be like, all right, let's throw a combo. Now let's take a step back and let's reset. Let's go back and throw that big combo again. All right, now let's take a step back. Let's reset. Let's read him. And again, like another thing that one of my Sean Soriano has talked to me like over and over again is that like if I get him with a good shot, don't try to swarm him right away. Get him with a good shot, let him react, see his reactions, because that split second, it's gonna be like, oh, I got hit, and then it's gonna be like, oh, I got hit, and then that's when you can start to work your other parts of your game that you've worked on to get the finish.
This fight coming up, I was wondering, because I've heard that it could be a title eliminator, this fight. So how did you guys get this put together?
So I'm just 3-0 under Shamrock now, and this will be my 4th Shamrock fight. I just got word. Jesse Finney reached out to me, and he was like, "Hey man, this is gonna be a title eliminator fight because Sharky's got a winning record under, or Mark, I don't like call him Sharky. His name's Sharky. Mark has a winning record under Shamrock as well, and so yeah, it just kind of came up to it. I mean, I don't know. A title's a title, but at the end of the day, my main goal is to get that UFC contract. I want to get paid. I put in a lot of work. I've worked hard for many, many years, and I think it's about time that I start getting paid. Again, obviously, I'm only 6-2, and if I continue to win, I mean, I see guys in the UFC at 6-7-2, 6-2, 8-2, whatever it takes. I'll keep taking fights and getting there. But this title fight's coming up as well, or not title fight's coming up. Excuse me, the title eliminator's coming up as well, and so I'm looking forward to that. That would be a great collection to add as I make my way to the UFC. I wouldn't mind having that and kind of having that as like a memento for my career, from the grind stage that I'm in now.
No doubt. Now, how do you see yourself, snatching up that title shot?
How I see it is anywhere, any way. I mean, I can go out there and hit. I got a hard right hand. Hit him with the right hand. I know. I mean, with all due respect, he did just have a boxing match in June, which he was knocked out. He's been KO'd quite a couple times in boxing. That's it's not the best. It's not the best for you, but one right hand is all it takes. And like you said, you can flip the script at any point. So yeah, I'm there to open up my striking. But at the same time, I have a ground game that a lot of people don't really know about. Our jiu-jitsu program at Stanford MMA is led by Wagner Ropka. I've gotten an incredible amount of help from Herbert Burns, from Gilbert Burns, the Burns brother, BJJ. My roots in jiu-jitsu go back to Springfield Fight Club with Gabe Boak and Nate Stambursky, where I swear some of the best jiu-jitsu in the Midwest. And so, if I want to take it down and take his neck too, I'll do that as well. Anyway, honestly, I'm confident in this matchup, but again, I know that anything can happen, like you said, and so I'm ready for a 3-round war if it comes to that point. I'm ready to defend anything he throws at me.
Yeah, you do have that support of Wagner Rocha and the Burns brothers. The jiu-jitsu team is insane over there, and Sanford MMA. What can you say about them, man? It's just killers on top of killers. Can you delve into some of the transformations you have accomplished in yourself at that gym?
I think the biggest thing, like how actually I've been asked this question a few times, like, oh, how has the training helped you? All those things. I really think the biggest thing is that previously, I guess I would say I was I would label myself as like a kickboxer and jiu-jitsu fighter. Now I'm a mixed martial artist. Now I can put it all together. Before it was like, okay, I can strike, I can do this, I can do that. And then, if I go to the ground, I'm fine there as well. But now it's like I move like an MMA fighter. I move my feet. I cover distance well. I manage distance. I time everything in a much better way now that I'm training in Stanford MMA. I mean, when you're surrounded with guys that are just monsters with so much experience in this game, you're only going to get better. And like a big thing that I've never I was part of a high school wrestling team back in high school, but I think the biggest thing is the team atmosphere that they instill in us. Like every day, you walk into the gym and we have like character words up on the wall. Like it says like service, gratitude, and character, and like it's like kind of these core values that we build the team around. And so it's kind of like holding each other accountable. And it's like if I miss practice, I'll already be like anxious. I'll get like anxiety, like, oh my god, I missed practice. Like coach is gonna be pissed. Like all these things, and it's great having the support with you too. It's incredible, and you have everybody believing in you. and like you believe in them as well, and you just want to build with each other. And you know, it makes getting to like our Saturday practice. So after going through like 12 training sessions, getting to Saturday practice, it makes getting to Saturday practice like easier, because like you go into the gym and it's your brothers with you, and like you train together, you eat together, you rest together, you fight together. And so I mean, even when I walk down to that cage, even though I only have 2 corners with me, I have a whole army behind me in Sanford MMA.
All right, one last thing before I let you go. I know you work from time to time at a restaurant. What is one of the weirdest requests you've gotten from a customer?
One of the weirdest requests. Will you choke me out? Will you choke me? Like what? No. That
That's classic.
I don't know. I get like a lot of I don't know, it's because I have like cauliflower ears and a beard, but I get the "Hey McGregor," like I swear to God, once a week, and I'll be like, "Hey, my name's Garrett, buddy." First off, I don't know. I always have like a bunch of drunk dudes that like, yeah, it's funny from time to time. They'll be like all drunk, like swaying, like put their hands up. They'll be like, "You want to go, buddy?" And like, I just ignore it because like obviously like they're joking. But like it was like 2 weeks ago. I walked past this one dude because like constantly moving in a restaurant, and he was there for an hour. With that hour, I walked past him probably like 10 times, and then in those 10 times, he like went like that, like "Don't hurt me" every time I walked past him, like thinking it was funny. Man, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, not really like not that weird of a request, I guess. Maybe
Well-
like the weirdest would be like, I don't know, can I get like mustard for my taco? I don't know. It's a Mexican restaurant.
Oh
so.
God, what mustard for your
I don't know.
taco? I don't know.
I don't
That's
know.
like
I
that
get-
must be breaking some laws or something right there. I
People
don't know.
have some weird. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess that's, yeah, sure, if you want. I mean, we don't have mustard here, but
Yeah. Well,
I don't know.
after that Joe Schilling incident at that bar, or I don't even know if it was a bar or a restaurant,
yeah,
that happened in Florida, right?
yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Joe Killing was literally at the gym a week before that happened. He was at Sanford like a week before that happened. I swear to God.
Yeah. So after that happened, I'm pretty sure a lot of people saw that and they're like, oh, they act kind of weird around fighters now. A little bit, I guess, a little bit more cautious, a little bit more careful.
Yeah. I don't know. It's I don't know. I work in like a nicer area too, and so like people are like more respectful, I guess. And so if they see my ears, they'll be like, "Hey, are you a fighter?" And they'll actually be like really curious about and ask questions. I once worked in like the hood of Fort Lauderdale at a Chili's. Like, you want to talk about what type of clientele a 2 for $25 deal brings in? Let me tell you. Oh my gosh, I would work for about $5 every single table, which is not a lot, but you got to get as many tables as you can get to build that up. You build that $5 to make it last you a while. And like, people just give me a look to be like, what's wrong with your ear? Like, what's wrong with you? I'll be like, I don't know. Just ignore them half the time. But
Yeah, that's a weird question because they're like serving your food, and you're like, why would you want to start that weird sequence of events with questions like that? But like you said, there's a
Yeah.
lot of weird people out there. But one
there's
thing,
a lot of weird people out there.
exactly, man. Anyways,
Maybe I'm one of the weirder ones because like I fight people for a living. I don't
nah,
know.
nah.
I still work at a restaurant. Shit.
Nah, you good, man. You good. Well, hey, October 9th, Shamrock FC 332, Kansas City. Thank you, Garrett, man, for the time, and good
Hey,
luck
thank you.
on your journey, man. You got a great team behind you, and
Appreciate
you
it.
got a great skill set. So let's see what you can do.
Hey, thank you, my man. I hope to speak to you soon.